Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm a qualified nutritional therapist and I thought I'd put together this short video to talk to you about some of the foods you could be eating that will help boost your immune system. So appreciate you can't get everything in the supermarkets at the moment. If you can make a list of these things, perhaps put them on your phone, when you do go down there you can keep an eye out, and if you see them you can grab them. So I brought a selection of things that I've got in my kitchen at the moment, and I'll talk you through all the things now, and hopefully you may not have heard of some of them, so it might be worthwhile just having a look at where you can buy them. So let's start with fruit. Obviously we all know fruit is good for us, but obviously fruit juice is not particularly good for you because it's just full of sugar. Fruit, if you eat a piece of fruit, that's much better for you because it's full of fibre. But some of the key pieces of fruit that you want to look out for, the first one would be papaya. Now, it's not readily available in every supermarket here, but you can get it. And the reason I'm mentioning papaya is because it's incredibly high in vitamin C. In fact, if you ate a whole papaya, that's over 200% of your vitamin C intake for the day. So obviously you don't need to eat a whole one, but that's very high in vitamin C. The next one, I don't have any at the moment, I couldn't find in the shops. The next one we do find almost in every shop is kiwi fruit. And they are incredibly good for you, very high in vitamin C again, so do keep an eye out for those. Then we come on to avocados. Now, avocado is in fact a fruit. It's also got lots of good fats in it as well. They're also quite high in things like vitamin E as well. So if you can use those in, I did another video about smoothies. You can put them in smoothies, great in salads, mashed up on toast, or make a lovely guacamole with lots of fresh garlic in there. They're a perfect ingredient you should always have in your kitchen. And then what else have we got? Citrus fruit. So that includes oranges, lemons, limes. You can make a honey and lemon drink, which is really good, particularly if you've got a sore throat. You could do, I don't recommend, as I say, juices per se, because they are just full of sugar and you're not utilising the fibre that comes in any fruit. I'm not a big fan of oranges myself, so I don't really eat them. One citrus fruit that is particularly good is grapefruit, and that's pink or red grapefruit. But you need to, because that's really good for reducing cold symptoms, but you need to avoid grapefruit if you're taking any kind of medication, because there is actually an ingredient in grapefruit that actually stops the uptake of your medicine. So before, particularly if you're on anything like warfarin, so before you take grapefruit, I would just check with your GP to see if that's something that you need to avoid. So that's just the one on the grapefruit. So then let's move on to vegetables. So obviously there's lots of vegetables out there. Some of the key ones I would say to keep an eye out for are red bell peppers. They're very high in vitamin C and also beta carotene, which is really good for your eyes and your skin. I don't have any at the moment, but they do have them in the shops. I was at the shops yesterday. Then of course the good old favourite, broccoli. Now, not a lot of people like them. I absolutely love broccoli, and it's part of a family called the cruciferous family. So that's actually really good at helping to detoxify your liver, and your liver is obviously what helps you get rid of your body, get rid of all the things that it doesn't want, it doesn't need. So broccoli is a fantastic one. You can just steam it. You can make it into a lovely cheesy gratin. Try not to. I'm not a big fan of boiling vegetables. I prefer to steam them because you tend to keep all the nutrients inside. And broccoli is like 65p. I think I got this from Aldi. It's really cheap. You should try and eat it at least once, not twice a week. Maybe make it into a cauliflower and broccoli cheese or something. So that's your broccoli. Then we've got spinach. And this, I got this bag from Asda. You can see it's £1. So I've used that in a number of different things. Again, spinach is one of those vegetables. It's a leafy green, so it's high in B vitamins, which is really good for your energy levels. It's also got a lot of magnesium in, which is good, which your body needs magnesium in pretty much every part of its body, including muscles, helping you rebuild muscles. It's also really good for helping you to sleep. So if you're bad with sleep, definitely try to look for foods that have got high magnesium. And spinach is very high in vitamin C. You would want to lightly cook it. If you lightly cook it, you can have it raw in a salad, which is perfectly all right. Make sure you've got some kind of fatty dressing on there to help your body absorb. Fat helps you absorb your nutrients. But if you want to lightly steam it or lightly put it in a frying pan with a bit of water. It's really delicious with a poached egg on it, or anything really. I mean, you can put it into anything, into soups, but spinach particularly is really healthy, and you should be trying to eat this like 2 to 3 times a week. You can. It's so versatile, and as I said, it's a very cheap ingredient. The one in Asda that I buy it from there because it's already washed, and so it's just ready to go. You can just throw it in. So then, apart from spinach, there's other leafy greens, and some of those, there's still a lot of those out there. So you're looking at things like cabbage. I've actually bought some pak choy. I'm going to use that in a vegetable Thai red curry, which is really nice. You can just steam it on its own, or toss it with some garlic and soy sauces and stir fry. Really easy. Just try not to overcook things, because the more you cook them, the less you start to lose some of the goodness. But you do need to cook things sometimes to activate the ingredients. And then we move on to things like ginger and garlic. These two are my favourites. Glorious garlic, as you can see here. So you want to use your garlic if you're starting to get feeling like a little bit run down or sore throat. If you chop a garlic clove into about 4 or 5 pieces and pop it like you would pop a pill down your throat, that's a really good go. And because if you're swallowing it whole, not chewing it, you won't get the garlicky taste. But if you crush garlic up, you could crush it up and put it with avocado to make a beautiful guacamole. You want it raw. If you don't really want to cook your garlic, because then it starts to lose the benefits. But fresh garlic, it's got a sulfur compound in it called allicum, and that's really good for your immune system. And then ginger is fantastic for nausea, but also very good for things like making a tea for a sore throat. So we're making a ginger tea. So just make a couple of slices of raw ginger. Make sure you've just washed it first, and then put it in some tea, and you could put some hot water on it, boiling water, leave it to steep. I actually have a sort of a ginger tea bags you can buy as well. Ginger's a really great all-round. It's anti-inflammatory as well. And then the other ingredients that I'd also recommend is turmeric. Now turmeric, it's the thing that makes everything go orange. It stains your hands. You can buy it in a root. I don't actually have any at the moment because I actually made my own little health tonic out of it the other day, and I think you can see it here. So this is what I make. This is called jamu, and it actually comes all the way from Bali, the recipe. And in that is 100 grams of turmeric root, 100 grams of ginger root, a little bit of black pepper in there to help the turmeric absorb the turmeric, some raw honey. And obviously raw honey is not suitable for pregnant people or children, pregnant women or children. And then the other thing is some filtered water. And you put it all in a blender and blend it up. And then you strain it through a sieve and you add a bit more water. And I find I make a couple of bottles of this, and it's quite strong. You just have a shot of it every morning, and it just sort of kick-starts your immune system. It's really good for you. So we've done the spices and herbs, and now we're moving on to nuts. 2 key nuts and seeds. The 2 things I would recommend you have in your store cupboard is sunflower seeds. I use these in everything. I use them in smoothies. I use them in sprinkle them on salads. They're really good. Or just eating them. You can use them as a little nibbly snack. And then the other thing is, and sunflower seeds are particularly good. Because they're high in B vitamins, they've got vitamin E in them. And the other one is almonds. Almonds are really good for you. They're very high, one of the few foods that actually are high in vitamin E. And vitamin E can only be, it's a fat soluble vitamin. So it's a perfect carrier, because obviously you've got fat in a nut. And vitamin E is really good for maintaining your immune system function. So you could just have a handful of almonds a day, not too many, especially if you're, trying to watch your weight, but just a nice handful of those. Maybe put some sunflower seeds in there and use them as like a little mid-morning snack. That will really be good for your body. Your body will thank you. 2 other things maybe just to finally finish on. The first one is green tea. And a lot of people do drink green tea already. I personally can't drink it. It just doesn't really. It's a diuretic, so it does make you go to the toilet a bit more. But it is an antioxidant, and again, antioxidant, anything with antioxidants in, is what you call. That's what people have called superfoods. There's no such thing as a superfood, but basically, what it does, it's a very beneficial thing for you. So if you want to maybe try green tea, you can have green tea with jasmine. There's lots of different combinations you can have. If you're looking for a hot drink, particularly at the moment, hot drinks are supposedly be quite good for combating the virus, then I would recommend trying green tea. And you can put honey in it if you want to, just to sweeten it up a little bit. And then the final thing, which a lot of people are not that familiar with in this country, is fermented foods. Now, inside your immune system is actually your gut, which is down here. And what that actually means is your immune system is made up of good bacteria. You have heard about this, I'm sure. There's a very popular yogurty drink that you can have that has this good bacteria in it. But what you want to try and do is feed those good bacteria. So give them things that they really enjoy, that promotes them to grow, so you get more of them. And the way to do that is to eat what we call prebiotics. Okay, now prebiotics is basically before the biotics. So that means fermented foods. Now, we eat fermented foods already, but these are specific ones that are particularly good. So the kind of things you're talking about are things like, if you see in the supermarket, there's a kefir, which is like a fermented drink. I don't really like kefir, so I buy this stuff. You can find this in supermarkets now, kombucha, and this one it's sugar-free, naturally. And it's this one's strawberry and peach flavour. My favourite's actually ginger. They can be quite expensive, but this one is pretty economical because you get quite a lot. You can see I got about a litre there, and it was about £3. And I would perhaps have like a little drink of that. I wouldn't drink it all the time. I can have that daily, a little sort of that much, just to help my good bacteria. So there's those. You've got kombucha, kefir. In Korea, the national dish is called kimchi, which is kind of a spicy cabbage in a jar. It's fermented, so when you take the top off, it pops like a champagne cork. But a lot of people don't like it. If you like something that's quite spicy, you can have it. They eat it as a sort of a condiment, alongside, like we would use mustard. But it's quite delicious on its own. I prefer what the Germans and the Polish like, which is sauerkraut. And again, the reason it's sour cabbage. That's what it's called, sauerkraut. But this one I get from Waitrose, which is £2 for this pot, and that will last me. I probably have like 4 servings in that, and I'll eat that with. It's really good with oily fish. So maybe some mackerel, or tinned mackerel, it could be fine. Doesn't be fresh, or you can just eat it on its own if you like that. I like it with mackerel and some avocado, and just as a little sort of plate. But you can try it out. Not everybody likes it, but this stuff is really great for your gut. So I think that's about it. Hopefully you've get something out of this. Get yourself down to the supermarket and keep an eye out for some of the things I've talked about. You might have to shop around a bit. But the most important thing to also remember is most people tend to eat the same foods day in, day out. And that's not great for you. The most important thing to think about is eat the rainbow, and all your nutritional, anyone that works in nutrition will tell you that. So variety, don't keep buying the same thing. Try and mix and match, buy a different piece of fruit or vegetable each week and work out how you can incorporate it into your diet. So hopefully this has been a useful exercise. I shall try and post some recipes that use some of these ingredients in future videos. Take care.